Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare.
Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that.
So this is nothing new for Americans. We might be facing a recession. So in this video, we will be looking at all of the brand new meltdowns surrounding this topic, and you heard it from the first clip, Democrats are literally admitting they are screwed. So I have a bunch of funny meltdowns surrounding that topic as well, so stick around for that. So before we start this video, please like the video. It's the #1 way you can help this channel, and it helps others see the videos as well. Let us begin.
There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. It takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean,
all right, so Donald Trump did not say yes or no to whether or not there would be a recession. However, there's somebody else who also gave that same answer.
Should the American people prepare for a recession?
There's no guarantee that they're going to be. I don't think there will be a recession. If it is, it'll be a very slight recession. That is, we'll move down slightly.
All right, so now that the playing field is equal, let us begin with the meltdowns and arguments.
Let me ask you a question. You've been around a long time.
Yeah.
Would you judge a presidency based on 1 day or 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
You would judge
a
whole presidency?
Choice. You gave me a choice.
Yeah, I'm asking. Would you judge a presidency on 1 day in the markets or a 6-week period after having just taken over after a match?
I wouldn't, but if he's someone who said, as soon as I take office, what you're going to see is prices lower and growth, and the economy is going to be great, then you can hold them to the 6 weeks and say, no. That's what's happened is the opposite of what you promised when you're on the campaign trail.
So
I'm curious what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. The Republicans say, look, we knew that Donald Trump was not literally going to fix everything on day one, considering the economy he inherited was from Joe Biden. And from the Democrat viewpoint, they are looking at everything from a literal viewpoint that Donald Trump said he would fix everything on day one. Why wasn't everything fixed immediately on day 1, 2, or 3?
In fact, Donald Trump and Republicans are crashing the economy in real time. They made promises with respect to lowering costs. Costs aren't going down.
That on day one, it's going to get better. And then he gets elected, and now he starts to say it's going to hurt for a while. That may feel to some voters like a bait and switch.
Well, I do think the people who voted for him are willing to give him a little bit of leash on everything, whether it's the economy, whether it's on immigration, whether it's on whatever issue was their most important thing. I mean, he is just 6 weeks in after taking over from a 4-year term.
So as you can see, you have different perspectives here. You have the literal viewpoint of, hey, Donald Trump said he was going to fix everything. Why did he not fix everything? However, I think the people who voted for him definitely see this a lot different.
Look, I think, markets go up and down. This is obviously an ugly day. It's never, I think, a smart idea to analyze the health of an economy or the long-term possibilities of an economy based on 1 day in the stock market. That having been said, I think what the president has said is true. He's trying to make major structural changes in the way our economy works.
Now, even though Donald Trump has been in office for 6 weeks, you still have news organizations who are pretty much unwilling to put any of this on Joe Biden. They are saying this is all Donald Trump's fault.
I'm seeing it on Twitter constantly. How's this guy doing now? How's that feel? How's winning feel with the economy? And they're not tying it to Biden, Kevin. They're tying it to some of the uncertainty from the Trump administration.
But is that a reasonable way? I mean, we elect presidents for 4 years, not for 6 weeks at a time.
All right, so you can leave your comments and opinions down below how you feel about this potential recession we might have. But anyway, let us get to what the Democrats are facing.
Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. Somebody like Donald Trump, we thought we'd at least have, Hakeem Jeffries in the speaker's chair to hold him back if we didn't have Kamala in there to do the right thing. Listen, the Democratic Party is going through a massive set of internal crises.
Now, I think some of you are gasping or some of you are just laughing because I can't believe you actually have somebody on CNN, a Democrat, Van Jones, literally calling out his own party and saying we are screwed. However, the rest of his answer is rather interesting and very telling.
You have a party that got trapped 2 ways. One, defending a broken status quo that nobody likes because they thought that Donald Trump was going to make it worse. But when you're defending the status quo, you're going to lose. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks. Defending a broken status quo and offending most of the country turns out is not as popular as my party thought it was going to be.
All right, so I did some research for you where Democrats take the 80-20 policies and they go straight to the 20 instead of the majority viewpoint. Let's start with immigration.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime.
It's a crime to enter the country illegally on Title 8, United States Code 1325, and it's really pathetic that any member of Congress don't understand what the law says. They wrote the law. They enacted the law.
Make them show a warrant. Make them show a document. Make them assert their authority. Ask them, who are you? Who are you?
Look, she's the dumbest congresswoman ever elected to Congress, and she proves that every day. And look, bottom line is, I can't believe any member of Congress, Republican, Democrat, Independent, would want to educate criminal illegal aliens who are in the country illegally, been convicted of a violent crime, and have been ordered removed by an immigration judge after due process.
Surely your position is not that we should let illegal aliens steal taxpayer dollars. Again, you want to talk about something to be upset about, that's it. Illegal aliens in mass have fake social security numbers. They have fake identities. Those are felonies.
I think they ought to be put on notice. And you got to play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rules.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors.
Picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt by labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They are in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again.
Another really big talking point as far as the 80-20 split is when left-leaning media and Democrats were not condemning Joe Biden for the Afghanistan withdrawal.
When Afghanistan happened, he went under 40, she went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the He's still there.
Why?
Look, I'll tell you why.
Because you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else? The fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
bullshit,
day.
Dude.
I'm sorry,
but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just.
Of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you, the political reality is that when they made that decision.
It doesn't matter. When you don't admit that Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't.
Can you name one or two things that you think Joe Biden has done wrong? Mm-hmm. And she's going to have to decide whether to answer that question or not. It's hard because the most consequential decisions he made, she was either the last person in the room on Afghanistan, her words.
Now, I know we're going way back, but I think it's important to remember even a lot of Democrats had an issue with the way Kamala Harris's campaign was ran and the fact that she was even the nominee for Democrats.
They didn't run a process. They made an excuse of $317 million in the kitty. They kept the same campaign manager and said, we will anoint this faulted, broken candidate who was inconsequential in her vice presidency, lost in 2019, as you detailed, complete loser in 2020, never could articulate anything, had no compassion for people, And her own advocates, let's not forget this. I remember the minute this happened, I was in Europe. She went on to The View. All those women wanted her to win. They threw her a softball. They threw her a second softball. She was so weak as a candidate, she couldn't even answer that she would do something different. It ricocheted around the world. She was finished.
Well, let me
They
go
will never do that again.
Now, another big critical issue is the fact that Democrats just can't seem to figure out how to grasp the American public, either through protest, with a TikTok, or trying to make these videos that are all coordinated together, and Democrats are finding this very cringe.
Clearly don't have an idea of what to do. They have had at least months to prepare, at least since the election, to start preparing. This is weak. This is not the way we should be responding. This does not give the country any confidence that there is an opposition to this.
Now, another massive 80-20 issue, and this might be the biggest one, is the opposition against DOGE and Elon Musk. Now, Democrats have changed their tune. They don't go after DOGE so much, they mainly go after Elon Musk because now they're realizing, hey, maybe this is the actual 80-20 talking point that the majority of Americans cannot stand us about.
Can we be real for a moment that DOGE is not about cutting money, right? It's not about spending. It's about shrinking government so that it'll be too small to stop Trump with whatever else is in this plan.
Why would the government stop Trump? Isn't he the head of the government?
The legislative branch, the FBI, now we're in control of the military, we're silencing media. This is what you do in a dictatorship.
Are you suggesting that the president is not the commander-in-chief of the military?
I am suggesting that the president is going to put in charge somebody who is going to contravene the Constitution. And at some near point, this conversation will look very silly for you because it will be obvious. And right now, you're gaslighting. But when we get to the actual rubber of the road of this, it will be clear.
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not?
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, more cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody should be happy about this.
Even people with the nuclear codes, cut them too?
Cut everything. Because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
But it's
Finally, here's an individual that's willing to do it for free with extremely great executional skills, and people are uncomfortable. Don't worry about it. The American people want to know how much waste is evident. And I think they're getting answers, and it's not good. So, Tom, I love it. You're absolutely right. But frankly, just between you and I, he's not cutting enough. In the concept of private equity, when you find a broken, bankrupt company.
Elon Musk has apparently somehow convinced the United States government, specifically the United States Department of State, that the taxpayers of the United States of America should spend $400 million buying, quote, armored Tesla production units. Isn't it great and definitely not at all illegal or profoundly corrupt? Definitely not ripping us all off to pay themselves, right?
Donald Trump didn't give that contract to Elon Musk. Joe Biden gave it to him.
They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn. So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat ass and say something about it.
Elon Musk is clearly running the show, the wealthiest person in the world, who has enormous conflicts of interests, who is helping to fund right-wing extremist organizations all over the world, who is looking forward to get massive tax breaks from Congress. He's running the show.
Now, funny enough, of all people, I actually have a clip of Scott Jennings telling Democrats, even though he doesn't want to help them, he tells Democrats, look, you guys need to pick an 80-20 stance if you ever want to win another election and not fully rely on the failure of Donald Trump and Republicans, because Americans are just not taking your side, especially when you look at all of the polls and statistics.
This is the issue that maybe people associate with it the most, because if there ever was an 80-20 or a 90-10 issue in America, it's this one. I mean, President Trump had the young athlete at the State of the Union the other night who'd been really injured in a volleyball game over it. I saw people posting video of that horrific injury, and I still saw liberals on social media laughing at this person's misfortune. And so I think the Democratic Party is torn up about it, but the American people aren't. Trump used it to political advantage, but then they expected him to do something about it, which he has done. If Democrats don't get on the right side of at least one 80-20 issue in America, they're going to lose again in 28.
All right, if you are still watching this video, I really appreciate it. Again, we are already talking about a recession. It's only been 6 weeks, and that seems to be what the majority of Americans are saying as far as Republicans are concerned. Now, if you don't like Donald Trump or the opposition, of course they are going to keep pointing out, oh my gosh, we are getting closer and closer to a recession. Donald Trump said on day one he was going to fix everything. Now, the irony is the majority of people who are saying that are in the party who is not, they're not having a good time right now, and you have a lot of people admitting they need to fix some things or at least try to reform some things. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for all the support. God bless you, and we will see you later.